roadsandrail.com.
What is the world's largest freshwater lake? The answer next.
How long has it been since you compared homeowners' insurance rates? Log on to southernoak.com to get an instant quote or find an agent near you.
Our family protecting yours. Southern Oak Insurance.
Lake Superior has enough water to cover North and South America combined. It is the world's largest freshwater lake.
Southern Oak Insurance. Our family protecting yours.
This 1010XL 92.5 FM hour is powered by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. The sports world keeps spinning and the local conversation continues. Now, Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
And a very good Thursday evening to you, Jacksonville. It is Hacker After Dark right here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM with Dylan Denmark. The Hacker Ryan Green with you. Glad you have decided to spend part of your Thursday evening with us. You know, you do this long enough in sports radio, you realize that you might have to call an audible at the line of scrimmage, right? You might have to change on the fly. I had a whole thought process to how tonight's show was going to go. Denmark and I had just spent hours planning tonight's broadcast throughout the day. And then Marcus Stokes and Treyan Webb decided to commit to Florida within the last couple of hours. And all our planning has pretty much gone to HE double hockey sticks. But that's okay. We're going to call an audible at the line of scrimmage. And here's what we have for you. Treyan Webb, the running back from Trinity Christian, the 4-star, over 45 scholarship offers, was committed to Oklahoma and Lincoln Riley before he left, was committed to Georgia, I think, all the way back in his sophomore year, had been uncommitted now for a while. It was thought Tennessee was in the mix, Penn State, South Carolina, and, of course, Florida. And Treyan Webb, within the last few hours, has committed to the Florida Gators. He will join us coming up in less than 15 minutes here on Hacker After Dark. So Gator fans, get ready for that. Treyan Webb here on 1010XL in less than 15 minutes. Marcus Stokes, you heard him commit live to Florida on the Franzi Show with Denny Thompson, Hayes Carline, and Lauren Brooks. We're going to get Marcus's head coach on out at Nice High School, Colin Drafts, who has known Marcus throughout his entire high school career, has coached Marcus throughout his entire high school career. Colin Drafts, the head coach of Nice, will also join us inside of about 25 minutes from right now. We're going to continue our NFC South preview as I am gone tomorrow to the state of Maine. So we will go to both Charlotte and Tampa tonight. The Mac Attack, Chris McLean, formerly of the Ball here in Jacksonville. Now you hear him mornings on WFNZ in Charlotte. It's all Baker Mayfield all the time in Charlotte, North Carolina. We'll talk to the Chris McLean, the Mac Attack, about that situation with Carolina. We'll also go to Tampa, talk to Zach Blobner, WDAE Radio in Tampa, about the Buccaneers and their prospects for 2022. And we'll touch upon everything going on in recruiting with Andrew Ivins, who does just a terrific job for 24/7 Sports. He covers the entire state of Florida. So I know we're doing a lot of Gators tonight, but we will do Florida State and Miami as well with Andrew Ivins coming up in the 9 o'clock hour. As always, on Hacker After Dark, we begin each night with a big deal of the night. This is not going to be any suspense what tonight's big deal of the night is, but Dylan Denmark, let's hit it right now.
Time now for the big deal of the night.
What's the big deal?
What is the big deal?
No big deal.
It is a big deal.
On Hacker After Dark.
There was a lot of complaining in Gator Nation. There was a lot of nervousness in Gator Nation. There were a lot of people wondering why Florida was not getting the recruits in. And I've told you for the last couple of weeks to relax. Pull a John L. Smith from back in the day. Remember him? Relax. Aaron Rodgers as well. You got to relax about this. Recruiting is a roller coaster. Some days you're going to have highs. Some days you're going to have lows. Today was a high for the Florida Gators. and in the city of Jacksonville, and that is why tonight is the big deal of the night. Not only did you get Marcus Stokes, the quarterback of Nice, to flip his commitment from Penn State to the University of Florida. Marcus Stokes participated in the Elite 11 last week. For those of you that follow recruiting, or those of you that don't, know that if you compete in the Elite 11, you're thought of as a pretty good quarterback. The last quarterback that from Nice that went to Florida turned out to be pretty good, if memory serves. That was one Tim Tebow. And now Florida has their guy. And Florida came into Northeast Florida, into St. Johns County to get him, which is an enormous deal. And if that wasn't big enough, less than an hour later, Treyan Webb, one of the best running backs in the country, from Trinity Christian, also commits to Florida. If you combine those two with four-star defensive back Trey Denson from Bartram Trail, who committed to Florida, week and a half, 2 weeks ago, Florida now has 3 huge commitments from our area in the last 2 weeks. Denson at Bartram Trail, Webb at Trinity Christian, Stokes at Nice. And I got to tell you, I know if Jim McElwain was still in charge, today would not have happened. I'm of the belief if Dan Mullen was still in charge, today would not have happened. To me, this is Billy Napier. This is Billy Napier. This is why you wanted a guy to recruit. Gator fans, this is what you wanted, and he has delivered for you on the 7th day of July. You wanted a guy to come in and keep players in-house. You wanted a guy to come in and stop letting, Penn State, South Carolina, Tennessee, Clemson, schools of that ilk come in and get guys from Northeast Florida. And Billy Napier has done that. Now, keep in mind, Roderick Kearney to Florida State from Orange Park. Grayson, the linebacker at Jackson, to South Carolina. It wasn't all great, and that's where the trepidation was for Gator fans. But today is the biggest recruiting day that the University of Florida has had in the Jacksonville area, the surrounding area, since I've been covering recruiting, going back 7 years. I can't remember a time where Florida on the same day got 2 4-star, top 300 caliber players nationally from our area and literally did it within the span of an hour. Like I said, you're going to hear from Treyan Webb coming up in less than 10 minutes. I'll have him tell you what it was about Billy Napier. I'll have him tell you what it was about the University of Florida. I'll also have him tell you what went into he and Marcus Stokes committing within an hour of each other. Gator fans, I think you'll find that very, very interesting. But the big picture to me, and we're going to do more of this with Andrew Ivins of 247.com. He's coming up in the 9 o'clock hour. Not only will we touch on Florida, but we'll get into Florida State and certainly Miami. It's early. So all the returns are not in yet. The verdict is still out. But the early look, the early returns, if you will, Georgia, Ohio State, Clemson, Alabama, you're not shooting fish in a barrel in the state of Florida any longer. Now that Mario Cristobal is in Coral Gables, and now that Billy Napier is in Gainesville. Those schools would come in here for the last few years and get whoever they wanted. Out of IMG Academy in Bradenton, out of Miami, out of Tampa, out of Jacksonville, out of Orlando. Will they still get guys? Yeah, they will. But not near as many. It will not be as plentiful. The state of Florida will not be as plentiful on commitments for out-of-state teams as it has been in the last 5, 6, 7 years. Not only is Mario Cristobal scorching the earth in recruiting, Billy Napier today, raised his hand and said, don't forget about me. Treyan Webb doesn't come to Florida 5 years ago. How many Trinity Christian guys have we seen in the last decade go to Ohio State or go somewhere out of state? Treyan Webb is a prime example. He was committed to Oklahoma before Lincoln Riley left. He was going to leave. Insert Billy Napier. Treyan Webb commits today to the University of Florida. Sharif Denson's another one from Bartram. Florida just did not get guys from Northeast Florida. How many Bartram guys have ended up at Clemson or somewhere along those lines in the last decade? Well, Billy Napier comes in. Gets a 4-star corner from Bartram. And you've had so many quarterbacks that Florida was interested in over the last decade that did not end up at Florida for whatever reason. Carson Beck comes to mind, among others. Today, you get Marcus Stokes, who, again, committed live right here on 1010XL to the University of Florida, flipping him from Penn State. The job that Billy Napier is doing in this state, the job that Mario Cristobal is doing in this state, and you know what? You got to give Mike Norvell some credit as well. They've been a little quieter than Cristobal and Napier. But Roderick Kearney out of Orange Park was a big get for Mike Norvell. Florida State's putting together a decent class as well to this point. Now, they're not going to get the acclaim currently that Florida's getting or that Miami's getting. But I kind of like what Norvell's doing. He's building up the lines of scrimmage. Not only did he get Roderick Kearney, but he got a kid in Keldrick Falk from the state of Alabama, got them away from Auburn earlier this week. But the big three, it's looking good right now. It's looking really, really good. And all three fan bases, well, at least two of them, have a right to be very excited tonight. Miami fan, you should be excited. Cristobal's doing great. Florida fan, if you're not excited tonight, then you're just not going to get excited after landing Marcus Stokes and Treyan Webb. And there's all sorts of rumors going around message boards, social media, that it may not be done for Florida in the next 24 hours. There's a 4-star wide receiver down in South Florida, Eugene Wilson, committing tomorrow. All eyes are thinking he's going to Florida. It could be a big, big couple of weeks for Billy Napier and the Gators. So again, Kirby, Nick, Dabo, Ryan Day, all these guys that have come into Florida year after year after year and essentially gotten whoever they wanted. Now, look, I'm not naive to the fact that programs like that are still not going to get some guys. They will come in here and get some guys. But they're not going to get their pick of the litter anymore. Cristobal and Napier, very early in the process, appear they're going to put a stop to that, which is very, very good news for you Miami fans and you Florida Gator fans. 641-1010 is the phone number if you want to get involved on the phone lines or on the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures. As always, we are streaming. For your viewing pleasure, you can watch the show live on the 1010XL YouTube channel. Just go to 1010XL's page on YouTube. Be sure and like and subscribe. We'll be streaming there until 10 o'clock tonight. Also on my personal Twitter, at Ryan Green 1010XL. That's at Ryan Green 1010XL. Coming up next, Florida fan, stay tuned. We got Colin Drafts, the head coach of the Nice Panthers at Nice High School. He's been Marcus Stokes' head coach for the last 3 years. We'll coach him again. His senior campaign, we'll talk to Coach Drafts about what Florida's getting with Marcus Stokes. But before we talk to Coach Drafts, let's talk to Treyan Webb, the 4-star running back out of Trinity Christian that committed to Florida hours ago. He joins us on Hacker After Dark next. 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
We're looking for a bag man. You want the job?
Rick Ballou.
Yeah. Okay, you got it.
He studied criminology at Florida State But now sports are his bag.
What's in the bag, man?
Baloo.
Drop the bag.
Evenings on 1010XL.
Here's Linda Beaver.
Listen up. We want your car and we're ready to pay more than anyone else. Curious to know how much? You can get an immediate appraisal and same-day cash at any of our stores. Beaver Toyota and Beaver Chevrolet will pay what you deserve. If it has 4 wheels and runs, let us take a look. Come see us now. Why are you still sitting there? We're not messing around. Get the most out of your car right now. Come visit us and see what we can do for you today. Beaver Toyota and Beaver Chevrolet. We want to wow you and buy your car.
What QC Kinetics is doing for people right now is nothing short of amazing. Hey, it's Leon Searcy here. If you got joint pain, any pain, you need to call QC Kinetics. They are the nation's leader in regenerative medicine, giving lasting relief with no surgery, no drugs, no downtime. QC Kinetics is in Mandarin and now in Ponte Vedra as well. They're growing because demand for these treatments is off the charts. Modern advances in regenerative medicine allows these medical professionals to take remarkable healing properties from your own body, concentrate them with maximum power, and put them directly into your aching joints so your damaged tissues can be repaired and restored naturally. So many people in Jacksonville are living their best life again, pain-free, thanks to QC Kinetics. If you have pain in your knees, hip, back, shoulders, don't let them keep you on steroids, and don't believe surgery is your only option. Call QC Kinetics now. It's a totally free consultation in 2 convenient locations, Mandarin and Ponte Vedra. Call 904-274-5522, 904-274-5522.
Here's your 1010XL First Coast Community Calendar.
The learning experience in Nocatee is raising funds for the Make-A-Wish Foundation, and the Jacksonville Sharks will donate $5 for every ticket sold. Learn more at jacksharks.com.
The Wounded Warrior Project provides what medicine and technology can't: community, counseling, and a second chance. Find ways to help at woundedwarriorproject.org.
You can play in the golf tournament benefiting the Derek Hatcher Foundation, combating the disease of addiction, August 13th at Eagle Landing Golf Club. Register at derekhatcherfoundation.org.
If you know someone with cancer and no insurance, call the U.S. Uninsured Helpline at 800-234-1317.
Her Song is a nonprofit organization that breaks the cycle of human trafficking through survivor care, victim outreach, and education. Find out how you can help at hersong.org.
If you're involved in a community event and you'd like us to help spread the word, find out how at 1010XL.com.
Summer Nights presented by One-to-One Financial is an evening affair benefiting Boys and Girls Club of Northeast Florida on Saturday, August 27th. Enjoy an evening at the beautiful Glass Factory as you sip premium cocktails, dance the night away with live music from the Bold City Classic. Taste delicious dishes from local restaurants like Black Sheep and win exciting auction packages. For details and tickets, go to tinyurl.com/1010 Summer Nights.
You know what's great about getting older? The toys are way cooler. Spring is here, and it's playtime. Yeah! And One-to-One Financial, Jacksonville's hometown credit union, has slash loan rates across the board on all the toys. Motorcycles, jet skis, boats, RVs, ATVs, even golf carts. And it's fun and potentially dangerous. One-to-One Financial has the perfect loan to help you finance it. Check out our rock-bottom rates and apply now at one-to-onefcu.org. Come out and play. Federally insured by NCUA.
Are you ready to play this summer? Come check out the Y. The First Coast YMCA is not only your home for health and wellness, it's also a place for the kids to explore, to learn new things, and to expand the limits of their imaginations. At the Y Summer Camp, every day is a new adventure. Kids can learn about STEM, arts and humanities, athletic sports, and outdoor games. Space is limited, and registration is now open. Visit fcymca.org and search for summer camps. See you at the Y.
Hey folks, Hicken here for Zero Res. Now that summer's in full swing, so's the front door of our house. Kids constantly coming in and out, bringing in sand from the beach, soil from the yard, all kinds of food. Pretty tough on the carpet, the rugs, the tile, the grout. Good thing July is National Carpet Cleaning Month. To celebrate, Zero Res offering 25% on all carpet cleaning in your home. What a great time to get your carpets cleaned by the very best. Zero Res, man. Spell it forwards or backwards. Zero Res, the right way to clean.
Zero Res.
The 9 after 5 keeps rolling at Southampton. Joe C. inviting you to jump on the tee every Wednesday at the Golf Club of Southampton. Just call 287-PLAY and sign up. We'll give you a little time after work to get there. Always a fun 9-hole game. Chef Gary preparing something nice for afterwards. prizes, and more than anything else, playing golf with buds and having some suds after. It's the 9 after 5 every Wednesday at the Golf Club of Southampton. Call 287-PLAY and get on the tee with Joe C.
Wake up and smell the great outdoors. Looky here. On the Nimnik Buick GMC Outdoor Show.
Let's do it, boys.
Jeff Lageman, Captain Kevin, and Captain Kirk. This Saturday morning from 7 to 10 on 1010XL. This 1010XL 92.5 FM hour is powered by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000.
Makes us all better, faster, stronger.
Hacker After Dark on 1010XL. Now, another interview on the Farah and Farah phone line. Brought to you by the accident attorneys at Farah and Farah.
Back here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. What a day for the Florida Gators. You heard Marcus Stokes commit to Florida on our radio station earlier this afternoon. And now you're going to hear from Treyan Webb, the running back from Trinity Christian. His recruiting process has been years in the making. He commits to Florida within the last couple of hours. Treyan, congratulations, man. How are you?
Thank you. I'm good. I'm doing well. Can't complain.
Treyan, this has been a years in the making process. I mean, you committed, to Oklahoma, I want to say, in your sophomore year. You have been getting offers, dozens of offers for years and years and years, and now it finally comes to fruition today that you commit to the Gators. What is that like, knowing your commitment is now public?
I kind of know I wanted to go for a while now. I feel like it's always been Florida. Florida, just after waking up, it was always Florida in my mind. It all made sense to me. So, it's just, I'm glad that now the whole world knows and I'm ready to get to work.
Billy Napier obviously had a good impact on you. You visited Florida a number of times since he took the job there. Treyan, what do you like about Billy Napier and that staff that he's assembled?
Great staff. They're all people I believe have my best interest at heart. He's a great dude, real guy. He knows, he wants what's best for you. He gonna push you. That's kind of with all the staff, I kind of grow a relationship with them. And, I'm just ready. I'm excited. I'm ready to be a Gator.
The fact that Sharif Denson at Bartram, Marcus Stokes at Nice, you at Trinity Christian, all three of you guys, and who knows if there's anybody else, quite frankly, all three of you guys that are heading to Florida. Jack Pyburn of Bowles is already there from last year's recruiting class. What does that feel like to kind of reestablish the Gators in our community here in Northeast Florida?
When the Gators are winning, the whole roster was full of Jacksonville guys and inner city guys around the area. So we're trying to create that Duval to Gainesville pipeline, and we're trying to we're trying to go win the natty and put on for the city.
Treyan, for Florida fans that have seen tape of you on 24/7 or Rivals, but maybe haven't seen you play live and in person, and a lot of them are listening right now. A lot of them are excited because they certainly know your name. They know how highly respected you are on all the recruiting boards. Talk about your game a little bit. What kind of running back is Treyan Webb?
I like to say I'll do whatever it takes to win. I like putting my team on my back and just being a playmaker that my team needs to win. I find ways to control the game, control the tempo of the game. And I get stronger as the game goes. I live for big moments. That's kind of what I feel like. Big time player make big time plays and big time games. I kind of stick by that model. But I'm a great teammate. I'll do it forever for my team. I'll block, catch, punt, kick, anything you want me to do for my team, I'll do it.
I asked Sharif this when I had him on when he committed. You have a big presence on social media. Obviously, you being as highly thought of as you are, people are going to kind of look at you, maybe to help round out this Gator class. Do you welcome that? Are you going to start committing for the Gators right now?
For sure. Matter of fact, me and Marcus been kind of planning this for a couple days now. I kind of been on him, kind of got him to Florida. Cause I already know I was going to Florida, so I kind of influenced him to flip and go to Florida too. So I'm ready to recruit. We're trying to build this class and go win the natty.
Again, Treyan Webb, one of the newest Gator commitments here on 1010XL. You just committed to play for the University of Florida in the Swamp, 90 minutes away from your hometown. I mean, has that sunk in yet? What does that feel like?
It hasn't really sunk in yet, but I'm pretty sure it's gonna sink in a little louder. A little later. University of Florida is a big name. It's a big school. I'm ready to play.
Well, certainly Florida fans are very excited. Obviously, a lot of Gator fans listening. It's a big day for them with you and Marcus. So you say you guys kind of planned this out a little bit. Was that kind of the idea that you were going to commit on the same day to Florida?
It was like it's kind of like we kind of knew we were going to Florida together. We just didn't know when we were going to announce it. So today was kind of like the perfect day for us to announce it. Kind of unexpected.
Who were some of your favorite Florida players growing up?
Obviously my cousin D, Seatric Faison, Fred Taylor, Emmitt Smith, the running backs.
Hopefully you're the next one in the long line of great tailbacks there at the University of Florida. Treyan, I know you're an unbelievably busy guy. We thank you for taking time out. Final question for the Gator fans that are listening. What message do you have for them, being the newest commitment to the class of 2023? What do you want Florida fans to know?
I'm going to give my all to Florida. I'm going to do whatever I can to help my team prosper. Hopefully we can try to break a narrative and put Florida back on the map.
Treyan Webb of Trinity Christian has committed to the University of Florida. Treyan, thank you very much, my friend. We'll talk soon.
Yes, sir.
There you go, Treyan Webb, one of the big commitments today for the Florida Gators. And to talk about Marcus Stokes, and he kind of planned this day out a little bit. I love to hear that, and it's all about making the biggest boom, right? The boom in recruiting, making noise on the trail. And look, social media has exploded this afternoon with Florida getting 2 guys from the city of Jacksonville. Other players from around the Southeast are putting out kind of cryptic tweets saying, Florida, interesting, let me see what's going on over there. And that is the recruiting game in a nutshell. You want to make the biggest impact. And when 2 guys like that are smart enough to realize when they're from the same hometown and they commit within an hour of each other, that is going to make that recruiting boom, if you will. And that is why Florida is in the center of the recruiting universe tonight, there with Marcus Stokes and Treyan Webb. Thank you to Treyan Webb. Now, Marcus Stokes of Nice committed live on the radio here on 1010XL a couple hours ago with Denny Thompson, Hayes Carline, and Lauren Brooks. So I thought, let's go get Colin Drafts, his head coach at Nice High School. What is Florida getting with Marcus Stokes? Colin Drafts has coached Marcus his entire high school career. They made a deep run in the state playoffs last year. Here's Colin Drafts, the head coach of Nice, talking about newest Gator commitment, Marcus Stokes. Here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville, it is a Thursday evening, and what an evening it is for Billy Napier and the Florida Gators. Not 1, but 2 local commitments from the Jacksonville area. They get running back Treyan Webb out of Trinity Christian, and they have flipped quarterback Marcus Stokes from Nice, an Elite 11 quarterback. He was committed to Penn State. He flipped to Florida earlier today right here on 1010XL. Let's go out to St. Johns County to Nice High School. His head coach is Colin Drafts, always kind enough to join us here on Hacker After Dark. Coach, how we doing?
Doing great. Appreciate you guys having me, and a lot of news going on today for sure.
There is no question. All right, Coach, let's get right into it. Marcus Stokes, a lot of Gator fans have heard the name. A lot of Gator fans were disappointed when he chose Penn State, and lo and behold, today, right here on 1010XL, he flips to Billy Napier and the Florida Gators. What did Florida get today with your quarterback, Marcus Stokes?
Great leader, respected by his teammates, exciting player to watch, exciting player to have in our program at Nice, so I'm excited for him.
Coach, there's no question that, Marcus had a great run last year with you guys, absolutely. What kind of player is he? When you think about the type of offense that suits him best, how would you describe that?
Yeah, I think unique is a word that you could use to describe for Marcus playing the quarterback position. He's definitely not your traditional prototype, just drop back, pocket passer type of guy. He's not a pure dual threat. He's somewhere in the middle, probably leaning a little bit more towards a dual threat, spectrum, if you will. But he's a playmaker, and we're blessed to have him. He's the type of kid, type of player that when something goes wrong, he's usually going to make it right. And anytime you have that type of player, especially the way the game is played now at the high school and the college, even the pro level now with quarterbacks moving around the way they do, he's extremely dynamic. He can make all the throws, and he's very, very intelligent. He's got a high football IQ. He's doing a lot of things now that he's going to be asked to do at the college level. Obviously not to that extent that they're going to do it there, but I think that he's going to be tailor-made to fit into, what they're going to do at Florida and make an impact.
I asked you this earlier this offseason. Again, Nice head coach Colin Drafts, he is the head coach of quarterback Marcus Stokes, who committed to Florida earlier this afternoon. I asked you this earlier in the offseason. When did you realize that you had something special with Marcus Stokes?
Oh shoot, man, that's a tough question. It was I think that you definitely saw flashes early on. Freshman year, made some plays on JV, did some really good things his sophomore year, but it was hard to tell in those first 2 years because we were still struggling as a program, and or not struggling, but we were building. As we could say, we were taking the steps to get to where we are now, and Marcus was a huge part of that. So when it really clicked, when you really saw it, I think was early this year, and it probably was the Atlantic Coast game. He had a big game beating Ponte Vedra in week 1, but was still kind of finding his way. Did some good things for Creekside in week 2, but we lost that game and he made some mistakes. But I think it was the third or fourth week we were going to play Atlantic Coast on the road, and he made some plays that wowed everybody in the stadium. And you could tell that he was the best player on the field, and that he was an elite quarterback. I think one of the plays that I go back to right before the half, we're on about the 40-yard line. With 10 seconds left, we've got the ball going in. We kind of really just drew something up in the dirt, kind of like it was a trips right, sprint to your right, pull up, chuck it to the back left corner of the end zone on a post corner to Dom Henry, and he's just kind of looking at me in the huddle. I could tell he was locked in, and that's exactly what he did. He went right on, went out on the field and made a huge play, made a big time throw, and dominated that game, and really played that way throughout the majority of the rest of the season and through our playoff run. But I think it was that game and maybe even that particular play where I kind of thought in my mind, like, wow, this kid is like elite. And we're looking for him to be that this year as well.
Hey, look, and there's no doubt. I mean, not every quarterback gets invited to Elite 11. I mean, Florida just got one of the best quarterbacks in the country. How has Marcus handled all of this? 4-star, Elite 11. He committed to Florida a couple hours ago. It's going to get even crazier for him. How will his demeanor change, do you think?
Right. I mean, I mean, all those things are, they're a really big deal, and it's a lot for a high school kid to handle, 17-year-old high school kid to handle all that media attention. I think one thing that kind of went in Marcus's favor is all this happened very late in the process for him. Usually when you have these guys that are top 10, top 20 in the country, they get a big-time offer after their freshman year or sometime in their sophomore year, or they've got a large social media following or media attention very early on. And sometimes that can be a good thing. A lot of times that can be a bad thing. It can kind of corrupt and corrode that maturation process. But with Marcus, none of that really happened until after this season. So he had been through 3, full years in the program, halfway through his junior year of high school before he really got that notoriety and attention and got that first big time offer. And of course it heated up after that, and everybody kind of started to know who he was. But I think that played, in his favor. He's handled it, in my opinion, very maturely. Exactly how we'd want him to, and just very humble throughout the whole process. And, obviously, anytime you flip, there's going to be some people that say certain things about it. But, like I've told him from day one, go where you think you need to be and where your heart is, and nobody can blame you for that. But I think he's handled it very well.
Coach, as much as you're willing to get into as we begin to wrap up, when the Mullen staff was in Gainesville, were they talking to Marcus, or was this primarily a Billy Napier situation?
Oh, no. I mean, absolutely not. They were not. Because, again, going back to the story I just told you, Marcus didn't get any offers all the way through his junior year. It wasn't until I think December, after the season that he got his first offer. I think it was Western Carolina FCS. He got a handful of FCS group of fives. Then he got that first Power 5 offer, and then the ball really started, getting rolling. And even through, the process of spring football and people seeing, how much bigger he's gotten, and then Elite 11 and all these things, he's continued to grow and mature both on and off the field. And it's really just kind of taking on an energy of itself. And Marcus Stokes now, that name is completely different than what it was, only 6 or 7 months ago. So
Nice High School head football coach Colin Drafts. Coach, final thought. Marcus commits on 1010XL this afternoon. It's not 30 minutes later that Treyan Webb out of Trinity commits to Florida. You kind of see that when the big-time quarterback commits, others seemingly kind of fall in line. We see it with Miami with Jaden Rashada. You've certainly seen it at Texas with Arch Manning. Would you expect Marcus to kind of lead that charge? Does he understand that he's the quarterback and he's going to be kind of the guy that people are going to look at to bring other recruits to Gainesville?
Yeah, I mean that's who he is. He's a natural leader. He's got that energy about him where kids want to play on the same team as him and follow his lead. So I could definitely see that happening. And like you said, anytime a quarterback, usually looking for that kid to lead the charge, and obviously Florida's got that now. And I think you could, definitely look for that moving forward. There's probably going to be a lot more, now that Marcus has made that decision.
A ton of excitement in the area. Obviously, Billy Napier has made Northeast Florida a priority. Not saying that, Jim McElwain didn't, I'll be honest with you. But Mullen was up here doing some things in Jacksonville. But you as a high school coach of one of the bigger programs in the area, I mean, with Treyan Webb, with Marcus Stokes, with Sharif Denson out at Bartram. I mean, Florida coach is kind of getting it done in the Northeast Florida area right now.
Yeah, they definitely are. You mean those three names, three of the top players in the country, really, all coming out of the Jacksonville area for those guys to come up, in our neck of the woods and get three commitments right there is pretty big time. Kid from Nice, kid from Bartram, kid from Trinity. It says a lot, about what they're doing, and I know, people in this area are definitely going to be excited about it.
Colin Drafts of Nice. Hey, Coach, congratulations on a big day for your program, a big day for your quarterback. The season is getting very, very close. I know you're enjoying a little vacay, so we certainly thank you for taking time out, and you and I will talk soon here on 1010XL. Thank you, Coach.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you guys having me.
There you go, Colin Drafts of Nice. So, Gator fans, hope that was a little insight. You heard from Treyan Webb. You heard from Marcus Stokes earlier on the Frangie Show, and there was Marcus Stokes, head coach at Nice High School, Colin Drafts. A huge day for Billy Napier and the Florida Gators. 2 4-star commitments from our own backyard in Nice quarterback Marcus Stokes and Trinity Christian running back Treyan Webb. We got a lot to do here on Hacker After Dark. We're with you till 10 o'clock. We're certainly glad you are with us. The biggest news in the National Football League over the last 2 days, Baker Mayfield to Carolina. I will tell you this. People I've spoken to in Charlotte kind of fired up, believe it or not, about Baker Mayfield and what he potentially brings to that Carolina Panther organization. We just so happen to be doing our NFC South preview this week. We've already been to Atlanta. We've already been to New Orleans. Let's go to Charlotte, North Carolina. The Mac Attack. Chris McLean, formerly of the Ball here in Jacksonville in the late 90s. He's been in Charlotte now for many years with WFNZ Radio. We'll talk Baker Mayfield. We'll talk Carolina. We'll talk Panthers next on Hacker After Dark.
1010XL remembers the summer movie blockbusters.
We've made living biological attractions so astounding that they'll capture the imagination of the entire planet.
It's a bad idea.
What's a bad idea?
1010XL.
Boy, do I hate being right all the time.
We spared no expense. Hi, this is Dave Barker. Want to grow your hair back?
IHRS, right here in Jacksonville, is the only hair transplant clinic in the Southeast to offer multi-unit hair grafting and the 45-minute PRP treatments. Grow your hair back. Call now for a free in-person evaluation. 904-777-IHRS, 904-777-4477, or visit hairforme.com.
It's summertime and the beach is calling your name. Chris here with Sliders Oyster Bar at Neptune Beach. I want to invite you all to our newly renovated family-owned restaurant that I guarantee you will only be served the freshest seafood in Jacksonville. My family and I wanted to see that our beaches community only gets the best, so we built you the best. Tons more seating, upgraded kitchen, fully stocked bar, and of course, fresh oysters. Come see us at Sliders Oyster Bar in Neptune Beach, locally owned and operated by Safe Harbor Seafood.
Congratulations to Exit Real Estate Gallery and their continued support of the Jacksonville Jaguars. As a proud partner since 2016, Exit's unwavering commitment to the Jaguars illustrates their commitment to the North Florida community. A trusted local leader in real estate, Exit's footprint spans throughout the region with 7 offices and over 400 realtors to help you with your real estate needs. So whether you're looking to sell, buy, or rent local real estate, an Exit agent is always available to assist.
Hey everybody, it's Mike Dempsey. Obviously, the summer temperatures are already here, and if you're like me, you want that oppressive Florida heat to stay outside the house. That's why I'm such a fan of Pella Windows and Doors. By now, we know that windows are the #1 way that heat gets in and the cold gets out. So when you're ready for the stylish design and energy efficiency that comes from Pella Windows and Doors, we invite you to visit their showroom on Phillips Highway next to Tesla, or find them online at PellaJacks.com.
Hey, Rural Pest Services here. Have mercy, the heat and afternoon thunderstorms are here. With that, we get the skeeters. Or for the transplants, mosquitoes. At Royal, we offer a monthly, bi-weekly, or one-time mosquito suppression service. The treatment process offers up to a 95% knockdown on all mosquito activity. So let Royal help you enjoy that backyard oasis this summer. Visit RoyalPestServices.com to schedule a free estimate.
In 1921, U.S. Marine Corps surgeon Dr. Robert McKeever established the first urologic practice in Florida, the McKeever Clinic. I'm Dr. West. 100 years later, we continue to carry on his life's work in providing complete urologic care in Jacksonville. We have 13 board-certified urologists with many areas of expertise to provide the highest level of care for both men and women. Visit McKeeverClinic.com to learn more about how we can help. McKeever Clinic, innovators in urologic care since 1921.
When you owe the IRS and can't pay, call J. David Tax Law for effective tax representation. Never trust your tax problem to a so-called tax resolution company that doesn't employ attorneys. We are a firm of experienced tax attorneys that has successfully represented over 10,000 clients. Call 904-507-4777. That's 904-507-4777. Or visit jdavidtaxlaw.com to schedule a no-cost consultation.
Star Wars fans, may the Force be with the Sharks Saturday, July 9th as the Sharks take on the Carolina Cobras for Star Wars Night, presented by Baptist Health and Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute. The first 1,000 kids in attendance will receive free lightsabers. Don't miss this action-packed football game. Tickets start at just $12. Call 904-621-0700. That's 904-621-0700. Or visit jacksharks.com.
One of the best things that happened here over the past year is the arrival of QC Kinetics. Hey, it's Leon Searcy here. QC Kinetics is giving relief every day to folks here with chronic joint pain using the latest advancements in regenerative medicine. They harness the power of your own body healing properties, like in your blood or plasma, concentrate them and apply them to your affected joints. The results can be mind-blowing. These regenerative treatments are designed to repair and restore your damaged tissues so that you can move again without pain. Play golf, tennis, run, walk upstairs without hurting. The success rate is incredible. QC Kinetics is growing now with clinics in Mandarin and Ponte Vedra. Folks here are getting real relief with no drugs, no steroids, no surgery. Discover the exciting all-natural, advanced natural options that we now have access to. Thanks to QC Kinetics. It's a free consultation. See what your options are. Now in Mandarin and Ponte Vedra. Call 904-274-5522. 904-274-5522. That's 904-274-5522.
This date in sports history is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On July 7th, 2001, in his first appearance at Daytona since the death of his father, Dale Earnhardt Jr. wins the Pepsi 400, coming from 7th with 9 laps remaining.
This 1010XL 92.5 FM hour is powered by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. Hacker After Dark on 1010XL. Now,
hello.
Another great guest on the Farah and Farah phone line. Brought to you by the Accident Attorneys at Farah and Farah.
Back here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. It is a Thursday evening. We are glad you are with us. Our NFC South preview rounds out tonight. We've already been to Atlanta. We've already been to New Orleans. Tonight we'll spend time in Charlotte and in Tampa Bay. And what a time in Charlotte, North Carolina, as yesterday Carolina acquires Baker Mayfield. For the very latest, let's go to the Mac Attack. Chris McLean is our guy in Charlotte. You hear him on WFNZ Sports Radio in the Charlotte area. Chris, how we doing?
What's up, brother? We've got Baker Mania here in Carolina. That's all I can tell you.
There's no doubt about that. Look, I talked about this last night. Who would have ever known that the 2018 draft, 2 quarterbacks go in the top 5, Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, both would no longer be on the team that drafted them, and both would be Carolina Panthers in the year 2022. One of the more odd stories we've seen in recent memory.
A big part of my, Baker is in Carolina joy comes from the fact that he is not named Sam Darnold. All right, I'm not going to lie to you. I have seen enough. I feel like most people have seen enough from Sam to know what he is and what he isn't. It feels like a clear upgrade. I also love the way Carolina kind of worked this deal. I mean, there's no secret that Carolina has been, kind of a mess pursuing quarterbacks here the last couple of years. I mean, they gave up 3 draft picks and $25 million for Sam, and you see what we've gotten out of that. But the way they played this thing, by just kind of holding firm, knowing that Cleveland didn't really have any leverage, there was no one else interested really, and getting to the point where they only have to pay $4.8 million. They give up a 5th-round pick that could become a 4th. And to get Cleveland to pay almost $11 million, that to me, that's the best part of it, is they got an upgraded quarterback. But I love the way they didn't panic. They didn't do, quite honestly, what they've done maybe the last couple off seasons, going after quarterbacks.
Chris, and to that point, we've talked about Baker to Carolina for months, even back as the NFL draft, I guess the second day on Friday. And yet days turned into weeks and weeks turned into months and nothing happened. You're as close to it as anybody. Did you feel ultimately this would finally get done?
Yeah, it kind of felt inevitable. I mean, and you're right, man. If you think y'all were talking about this a lot, I mean, my God, seriously, the amount of Baker Mayfield segments I've done, and I don't know. I mean, the thing I'll say about it is I get people that look at it skeptical and say, what is this? This is Carolina throwing another dart at the quarterback dart. I definitely get that. I'm not sure when I look at it if, I'm not sure if this is even, if either one of these guys are with the Panthers next year, to be honest with you. I think the Panthers, from what I hear, are looking at this thing as, hey, this is a move for this year. And I'm sure a lot of it has to do with Matt Rule trying to make sure he could save his job. Austin Corbett and Bradley Bozeman, 2 quality free agents. They drafted Ike Ekwonu out of NC State to be the left tackle. The defense last year was 2nd overall in the league, but it just got wasted and worn down as the season went on. I think there's a feeling like, hey, we got a roster that can compete. The NFC, I mean, I don't need to tell you all about how tough the AFC is. The NFC, not so much at this point in time. So I think Baker gives them a chance to at least compete in the NFC, to where even with the roster improvements, if you still have Sam, it's hard to feel like you could be competitive.
The Mac Attack, Chris McLean, WFNZ Radio in Charlotte. So, Chris, based on what you're saying, do you feel Baker Mayfield is going to be the starting quarterback opening day? I mean, we're in almost middle of July, training camp a couple of weeks away. Can he get enough into the playbook where you feel that he is going to be the guy September 11th?
Man, I hope so. First of all, I think everybody should hope so, because that first game is against Cleveland. And that is tremendous theater. And the way that as nasty as that thing got at the end, Baker Mayfield with the attitude and the chip on his shoulder that he has against his former team, I think everybody would enjoy that one a little bit. I think it has to be. I mean, I know that the team, the team's stance is, hey, this is a competition, but I think they have to make them earn it, right? They have to at least present, that front that, hey, this is a legit competition. They can't hand him the job. But I would be shocked if he gets a full camp, gets a chance, I'm sure, now to kind of go through the playbook and kind of start learning on his own. I would be shocked if he is not the guy week one. I really would be.
I'll tell you the interesting thing from an outside point of view. I mean, where does Matt Corral fit into the future plans? You got two relatively young guys in Baker and Sam. You said you didn't know if either one would be there next year, so that might answer the question. But you draft Corral in the third round. I mean, what's he thinking about all this, do you think?
I wonder if he's a little bummed, because if only Sam Darnold stands between you and playing time, I got a pretty good feeling you could get some playing time, right? But now the picture is completely different. And I had somebody yesterday, because I asked that same question to somebody over there with the team, and their basic response was that Scott Fitter or the GM believes that a redshirt year would be maybe the best thing for Matt Corral. So I think they're looking at it like, I think even they were looking at it like, man, at some point we probably have to turn to Matt in his rookie year. He is seen as a guy that, in the Lane Kiffin offense, it was a lot of RPOs and it was not a lot of pro-style stuff. So I think there's a feeling that a year for him to learn the McAdoo offense, sit behind these two veterans, I think they feel like that might be a blessing in disguise. But, yeah, it does make you wonder when you come around to next year, it does make you wonder, do they view him as a viable starter in year two? I think that's going to be interesting. A lot of it has to do with how Baker plays. I mean, I'm a little scared that they might get, he might play well and they might give him a deal that they could regret down the road. But I think right now, I think it's a clean slate. I think they like having that flexibility too, Ryan.
A couple of more for Chris McLean, the Mac Attack, WFNZ Radio in Charlotte. Mac, I guess my question now would be Robbie Anderson, right? Refresh my memory. Wasn't there a series of tweets that Robbie Anderson sent out that were almost kind of anti the idea of Baker Mayfield coming in? And will that be an issue moving forward?
Oh, yeah. He sent one out. He quote tweeted a story about Panthers' interest in Mayfield and just wrote no with about 500 O's at the end of the end. And, and Robbie, I'm telling you, Robbie could really use, the old Herm Edwards, don't press send? I feel like Herm needs to talk to Robbie because he'll hit send, and I don't know if there's any thought given. Robbie actually tweeted yesterday, right after the deal was made. I think he had this one in the drafts. And he said, I'm going to get this out there so that no one starts any false narratives. And it was just a clip of him answering questions in minicamp about Baker and how he has nothing against him. And he said, I was just trying to get the back of my teammate. Well, by the way, that teammate is the same one in Sam Darnold that he was screaming at on the sidelines in the middle of a game last year.
Well, you look at that offense, again, a couple more for Chris McLean. You look at that offense now with Robbie Anderson, with Christian McCaffrey. You obviously throw in DJ Moore to the mix and potentially Baker Mayfield as the starter. Mac, they look like they're going to score some points. I don't know how good the defense is going to be, but if they stay healthy, they got some guys on offense now.
There's no doubt, and you just said the key phrase, if they stay healthy. Because Christian McCaffrey, I would love to stick him in a bubble and be able to protect him. Because you look at Baker, like 2 years ago, when Baker had what was his best year, right? 8th in the league quarterback rating, 26 touchdowns, 8 picks, and they win 11 games, beat the Steelers in the playoffs. Well, one of the things he had going for him that year was a great running game that he could play off of. They had Chubb, they had Hunt, and those two ran for 1,900 yards together, and they really ran it, and then Baker killed him in play action, threw it downfield deep off play action. If McCaffrey can stay healthy, and I know sadly that's still a big if, right? But if he can stay healthy and they can operate that way, play action off McCaffrey, I think Baker's got a chance at least being really close to what he was in 2022. And that's when and I'm trying not to go total homer mode here for the Panthers, but that's when you start thinking, man, because this defense last year, I know they lost Hassan Reddick, but they get J.C. Horn, first-round pick back. They added Xavier Woods in the secondary as well. That defense was second in the league last year overall. You start to combine those two together, and then in a down NFC, you really got a playoff chance.
Mac, here in Jacksonville, C.J. Henderson, it just simply did not work out. And he got traded to Carolina. We got a guy in Dan Arnold back who we really didn't know a lot about. He turned out to be a pretty good tight end. They used that draft pick that Carolina gave him on Chad Muma. So right now the trade is Dan Arnold and Chad Muma for C.J. Henderson. People here in Jacksonville feel like they've won that trade. What is C.J. Henderson's outlook there in Charlotte?
I mean, we're still waiting. As you guys did for a couple of years. We're still waiting. I mean, last year, it was one of those where he had trouble getting – I think they took it slow with him. He had some good moments. He had some rough moments. Didn't really play a ton. He then got banged up, which is also something y'all can probably relate to down there. He's changed numbers here from 15 to 24, and people are trying to convince us that is going to do something magical. I mean, he has something to prove, brother. Like, yeah, I would not. I mean, I'm trying not. We gave up a third-round pick for him. I'm trying not to dismiss it because I know he's a talent. But at how long? Like, if he doesn't produce this year, I feel like at that point, we can write the man off. Got J.C. Horn, Dante Jackson is the one and the two. They're pretty deep otherwise, so he's going to have to battle for reps. But if he doesn't turn it up this year, I think we might have to break out the L sign for the trade for the Carolina Panthers perspective.
Chris McLean, WFNZ in Charlotte. All right, Mac, as we wrap up here, the NFC South, right? We've talked to guys in every NFC South city. I thought it was hilarious. John Michaels, my guy in Atlanta, was 680. I asked him what the Falcons' outlook was. He said Bryce Young and C.J. Stroud. So that's where they are in Atlanta. Tampa, Tom Brady, obviously. New Orleans, we'll see with Bruce Allen. What about Carolina, Mac? Where are they in this division, assuming Baker is going to be the quarterback?
I mean, last year, if we did this interview yesterday and it was Sam Darnold, we didn't have Baker, I would be sitting here saying that we are clearly third. I do think the Falcons, and listen, that might not be the worst thing in the world to get one of those stud quarterbacks in the draft. I'm laughing now at our rival, but that could work out very well for them. But I think Atlanta's roster clearly, I think they're hitting this reset button. They have a lot more holes than the Panthers do. The presence of Baker Mayfield is the one thing that makes me wonder if they can push the Saints for the second spot in the division. I mean, I'm not even trying to go after the GOAT and the Bucks, but I do wonder with Sean Payton out, how does that affect the offense? How does it affect Jameis, who was playing well before the injury last year with Sean Payton there? I just think Payton's so brilliant offensively that I'm hoping that opens up, a little bit of a chance. I think they can push for second and be in the battle for second with Baker. I do.
Well, it'll certainly be interesting to see. Baker Mayfield is Hollywood. There's no question about that. Sometimes he'll be good. Sometimes he'll be bad. Carolina's hoping for the good Baker Mayfield. We always get the good. Mac Attack, Chris McLean, formerly of the Ball here in Jacksonville. You've heard him in Charlotte now for many years on WFNZ Radio. Mac, thank you for the time. As always, brother, we'll do it again soon.
Anytime, man. Be good.
You're exactly the kind of hero the world needs. At the end of the day, it comes down to the same question I've been asking my wife every Friday night for the last 20 years. Do you want some of this?
1010XL.
It's a sale so big, there's only one name that fits. It's the Big One Sales Event, and it's going on now at Arlington Toyota. Ready for some new Toyota inventory? How about 400 new Toyotas available? See? I told you it was big. Plus, you get 30 days to love your new purchase or exchange it, and a lifetime warranty with your new Toyota purchase. Unlimited time and miles. Look for the big red tent. It's the Big One Sales Event at Arlington Toyota. Shop in person at 10939 Atlantic Boulevard and online at arlingtontoyota.com today. Mia O'Brien here. Have you seen the duck around town? No, not just any duck. I'm talking about Duck Duck Rooter. In just 3 years, they've grown into one of the largest plumbing and septic companies in Florida. And their hardworking team is based right here in Jacksonville, FLA. From septic tank pump outs, septic inspections, drain field installations, sump pump repair, they do it all. And they are the only master septic contractor on the First Coast. So when you're stuck, call the Duck, 904-862-6769.
Canine units put their lives on the line to protect our community. You can show your support by purchasing a new Canines United license plate. Proceeds fund essential equipment and training for canine units across Florida. Pre-order your tag at canineunited.org.
Wholesale prices, premium service, Tire Outlet.
Captain Kevin favor here, and this summer, go further with Tire Outlet. Visit them online at any of their 13 locations in Northeast Florida to shop their top flagship brands like Kumo and Yokohama. Let them find the right fit for you. Visit TireOutlet.com to find your store today.
Wholesale prices, premium service, Tire Outlet.
Are you looking for increased privacy and protection for your family and pets? Look no further than Superior Fence and Rail. Superior Fence and Rail is Jacksonville's top-rated fence company, delivering the highest quality fence products. They'll treat your property as if it's their own. So get off the fence and get your privacy back. Call Superior Fence and Rail today for your on-site estimates.
When you're on the fence, about a fence, SuperiorFenceandRail.com.
What NBA player has scored the most points in his career? The answer next.
It's always a good idea to compare homeowners' insurance rates instead of renewing year in and year out. Log on to southernoak.com and get an instant quote in minutes.
Our family protecting yours, Southern Oak Insurance.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar has scored over 38,000 points during his NBA career.
Southern Oak Insurance. Our family protecting yours.
Hey folks, Hicken here for Zero Res. Now that summer's in full swing, so's the front door of our house. Kids constantly coming in and out, bringing in sand from the beach, soil from the yard, all kinds of food. Pretty tough on the carpet, the rugs, the tile, the grout. Good thing July is National Carpet Cleaning Month. To celebrate, Zero Res offering 25% on all carpet cleaning in your home. What a great time to get your carpets cleaned by the very best. Zero Res, man. Spell it forwards or backwards. Zero Res, the right way to clean.
Zero Res.
Beaches Jewelry and Pawn is ready to help. If you need extra cash or a quick loan, Beaches Jewelry and Pawn has cash in hand. They also love to buy items of value. They need gold, silver coins, and flatware, jewelry, guitars, and of course, guns.
If golf is your thing, you might want to check out Hidden Hills Golf Club. At Hidden Hills, we simply love the game. Whether it be a casual afternoon practice session or a round with friends, Hidden Hills offers all you need to enjoy the game even more. HiddenHillsGC.com.
Thinking about a graduate degree? Consider Webster University. Enrolling now for MBA degrees with several areas of emphasis to fit your career goals. Earn your degree completely online or in person one night each week at the local campus. Webster University is a military-friendly, nonprofit university. They accept VA benefits, employer tuition assistance, and financial aid. You've waited long enough. Apply today at webster.edu. Webster University, an accredited degree that fits your lifestyle.
Hi everybody, Mike Dempsey here for Underdog Fantasy, the easiest place to play fantasy football. Draft your team with no in-season management, get the optimal score from your team each week of the season, and have a shot at over $10 million in total prize money in Underdog's Best Ball Mania 3 contest. Head to UnderdogFantasy.com or the App Store now, sign up with the promo code 1010XL, and Underdog is going to match your first deposit up to $100. Again, Underdog Fantasy, sign up with promo code 1010XL and draft your Best Ball Mania 3 team today.
Mark Watson with Hardball Creative. This past year has taught us to value the important things: our health, our friends and family, cooking for ourselves, and logo polo shirts. Check them out at hardballcreative.com.
Hardball Creative. Hardball does it all.
Home of the Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach. This 1010XL 92.5 FM hour is powered by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
Halftime on Hacker After Dark, 1 hour down, 1 hour to go. We'll take you up until 10 o'clock tonight. A couple of guests coming up here in the 9 o'clock hour. We're inside of about 10 minutes or so from Andrew Ivins, 247sports.com. Andrew covers the entire state. We're going to talk about Billy Napier and the Gators, but we're also going to spend time on Mike Norvell and Florida State and on Mario Cristobal and Miami. How is the world of recruiting changed in this state with the arrival of Cristobal and Napier? How is Norvell faring? We'll do all of that with Andrew Ivins of 247sports.com inside of 10 minutes from now. And we'll go to Tampa to end our NFC South preview for the week. We've already been to Atlanta, New Orleans, and you just heard Chris McClain in Charlotte. Zach Blobner, WDAE Radio in Tampa, to talk about the Buccaneers as our NFC South preview rounds out tonight. A reminder, I will be out tomorrow and Monday up in the state of Maine to visit my wife's side of the family. Looking forward to it. Back here with you on Tuesday for Hacker After Dark. Next Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and, of course, Friday. Couple of pieces of business in the sports world. I hated to see this. The writing was on the wall yesterday. It was a great win for Rafael Nadal at Wimbledon, trying to go for the Grand Slam this year. He had already won the Australian Open. He had won the French Open. He had gotten to the semifinals at Wimbledon. He had to withdraw today with an abdominal tear. An abdominal tear. He won a tennis match yesterday against a top 15 player in the world, an American Taylor Fritz, with a tear in his abdomen. That is unbelievable to me that he won a match. But obviously, once that was diagnosed, he knew he probably couldn't or shouldn't continue playing. That has to heal. So, unfortunately, Nadal had to withdraw. So, Nick Kyrgios goes to his first Grand Slam final, where he will probably be taking on Novak Djokovic on Sunday morning there at the All England Club. You know, we were talking about Baker Mayfield and Charlotte with Chris McClain earlier and how that dynamic will be, what the quarterback room is going to be like now with he, Sam Darnold, Matt Corral. I found it interesting today on CBS Sports. They ranked the NFL divisions, right? They ranked every division in the league, 1 to 8, based on nothing else but starting quarterbacks in each division. The 4 starting quarterbacks, let's rank the divisions 1 to 8. Number 8, in dead last, the goat and his sheep is what it's called. They have the NFC South. Of course, you have Tom Brady in Tampa, but then Baker Mayfield, Jameis Winston, and Marcus Mariota. The ironic thing about that, Tom Brady was the 199th pick in his draft. Baker Mayfield, number 1 overall. Jameis Winston, number 1 overall. Marcus Mariota, number 2 overall. Very interesting. Number 7 was the AFC South. The mid-tier mob is what it's called, with Tannehill, Ryan, of course, Trevor Lawrence, and Davis Mills. Number 6, they call it the Prove It Posse. The NFC East, Prescott, Hurts, Wentz, and Daniel Jones. Number 5, NFC West, the Boomer Bust Bunch. Stafford, Kyler Murray, Trey Lance, Geno Smith. Gotta say, Stafford and Kyler Murray are pretty good. It gets a lot worse after that. The top half of the rankings, the AFC East at number 4, with Josh Allen, Mac Jones, Tua, and Zach Wilson. Number 3, the NFC North. That's Aaron Rodgers, Kirk Cousins, Justin Fields, Jared Goff. Number 2, the AFC North. Wow, yeah. Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, Mitch Trubisky, and Jacoby Brissett. Should be Deshaun Watson, but it will most likely not be due to suspensions in Cleveland. And, of course, number 1, and we've talked about this all offseason, maybe the best quarterback division we've seen in a long, long time. The AFC West. Mahomes, future Hall of Famer. Herbert looks amazing. Russell Wilson, future Hall of Famer. And Derek Carr is considered 4th in that division, and he's probably a top 12 quarterback in the league. That is how good the quarterbacks are in the AFC West. There's a lot of good things happening on the recruiting trail in the state of Florida. Florida had a gigantic day today with both Marcus Stokes and Treyan Webb. By the way, if you missed any of the interviews we've had, 1010XL.com on demand and on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, you'll get Treyan Webb and Marcus Stokes over the next couple hours and coming days. Coming up next, Andrew Ivins, 247sports.com. Let's talk about Florida. Let's also spend a little time on Florida State and Miami as we examine the entire state when it comes to the recruiting trail. We'll do that with Andrew Ivins of 247sports.com. That's next on Hacker After Dark.
Bring in the heat. Your station for summertime fun. 1010XL, your summertime fun station.
Honestly, this is one of the best jobs I've had.
Drivers and mechanics, listen up. Waste Management is now offering a $5,000 new hire bonus to CDL drivers and heavy truck mechanics for job opportunities at our sites in Jacksonville, Green Cove Springs, Callahan, and St. Augustine.
There's so much more to Waste Management than what you think it is.
Waste Management offers steady work, competitive pay, weekly paychecks, opportunities for overtime, paid training, and a generous food and tool allowance.
Plus industry-leading benefits, like 100% tuition coverage for you and your family, and your home every day.
The benefits were great. They're the best I've seen in a long time.
CDL drivers and heavy truck mechanics apply online today at WM.com/careers. That's WM.com/careers. Search driver and mechanic jobs in Jacksonville, Green Cove Springs, Callahan, and St. Augustine, Florida.
A people-first, military-friendly, equal opportunity employer.
We are WM.
This is your Mad Dad's Update with Chapter President Donald Ford.
Hello, Jacksonville. We are well off to being the murder capital of Florida per capita population again. We've had 51 homicides, 9 more than we had last year at this time. We've had 1,466 assaults. This includes shootings, stabbings, and so on. We had 1,378 last year at this time. These statistics are outrageous, and it does not even say that you are safe to go to a food truck in broad open daylight. My bishop stated that he was in a grocery store and wondered if he was safe. We're going to continue to have these problems until the community wake up, stand up, and speak up. JSO cannot solve the crime if they were not there when it happened. Hit me on Facebook and tell me what you think.
For information about Mad Dad, go to Mad Dad's Jacksonville Chapter Facebook or MadDadsJacksonville.com.
Tacos and sports go hand in hand, literally. You can watch the game with a taco in each hand or with a taco in one hand and a tennis racket in the other. Don here from Taco Lou in Jack's Beach. I love sports, and since you're listening to this station, you love sports as well. If you love sports and tacos, then Taco Lou is calling your name. You can watch the game here, call in a to-go order, and watch it at home. Or let us cater your next party. It's Friday, so here's to a weekend full of sports, tacos, and tequila at Taco Lou in Jack's Beach.
Men suffering from PE or ED, has Viagra, Cialis, or Levitra let you down? Regardless of your age or past medical history, you'll see results on your first visit at Prime Men's Medical Center, or you pay nothing, guaranteed. Call us at 664-8217.
Does the building you go to work in every day need a little love and attention? Jason Parker here with Performance Painting. Great companies take great care of the buildings their staff and customers walk into every day. If the building you're in doesn't match the vision you have for your company, we can help. Go to performance-painting.com. Our highly trained team makes the difference. Quality coatings applied with pride.
Performance Painting.
If you're living with chronic joint pain in your knees, hips, lower back, and shoulders, I've got exciting news for you.
Emmett Smith, all-time rushing leader and Hall of Famer.
Now you can get relief from pain without harmful medications and surgery. Call my guys at QC Kinetics. QC Kinetics specializes in biologic therapies that can repair and restore damaged tissue. I'm talking about natural pain treatments now available, not just for pro athletes, but to people like you.
At QC Kinetics, we're seeing patients every day who suffer from chronic joint pain but who desperately wanted to avoid surgery. We're treating joint pain with biologic therapies, regenerative solutions with long-lasting results.
Listen, it's all about getting your life back. Playing touch football with kids, walking upstairs pain-free, getting back on a job, and patients at QC Kinetics are raving about the results.
QC Kinetics. Call to learn more about restorative treatments that can get you back in the game.
Call QC Kinetics, 904-274-5522. That's 904-274-5522. 904-274-5522.
Years ago, when Harold & Harold was growing, we had a decision to make whether we were going to grow into the state or even beyond. And we decided that we were going to stay here in this community in Northeast Florida. That it's staying here and not looking at where's the next place that we can go, or how can we get bigger, because bigger is not necessarily better. This is our home, this is where our families are, this is where our friends are, and this is where we're going to stay. Offices, Jacksonville.
This Date in Sports History is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On July 7th, 2001, in his first appearance at Daytona since the death of his father, Dale Earnhardt Jr. wins the Pepsi 400, coming from 7th with 9 laps remaining.
This 1010XL 92.5 FM hour is powered by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. Hacker After Dark on 1010XL. Now, another interview on the Farah and Farah phone line, brought to you by the accident attorneys at Farah and Farah.
Back here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. The 4th of July has come and gone. We are inside of a month until fall camp begins, and hard to believe, next month we will have our first college football Saturday of the year. With that, let's go to Andrew Ivins, 247sports.com. He has done a terrific job for years covering recruiting all throughout the Southeast, and he's always kind enough to join us here on 1010XL. Andrew, how you doing?
I'm doing good, man. You got me fired up. I didn't realize we're 1 month out from our first college football Saturday. I'm ready and fired up. It's been over July 4th weekend, I'm like, there's no sporting events on TV. Obviously got the hot dog eating contest, but I was craving some football.
Yeah, the USFL championship game didn't quite do it for me either. I'm interested, Andrew, a guy like you that's covered recruiting for as long as you have, NIL, transfer portal, collectives. I made this point last week. I need a 3rd and 7 from the 32-yard line. I just want to see something on the field. Are you like that?
Yeah, I think for me, I mean, obviously you're in this industry, and then you talk to the coaches that are in the industry. I think we just need a break right now. I mean, it's just been kind of nonstop, like you said, with the transfer portal, and then now you got all this NIL stuff. I mean, it just seems like the recruiting calendar has legitimately turned into 365 days a year, 24/7. I mean, it's like the name is. It's just, I don't know how they're going to corral it or whatnot, but, I think most of these coaching staffs, they're out there wanting to kind of gear up and rest up before fall camp. But at the same time, you're chasing all these kids and you're trying to add transfers. It's gotten so wild where it's like, I just want to come up for a breath, and maybe it'll be a 3rd and 7, Labor Day weekend in a football game where it's like, all right, we know nothing's going on in the world of roster management and talent acquisition.
Well, yeah, not only that, but you had USC and UCLA moving to the Big Ten, all the talk about schedule changes in the ACC. It's been a lot, quite frankly. I think we all just need a little football. And boy, on the recruiting circuit, though, what a couple of weeks it's been, really, for all 3 schools in the Sunshine State. Andrew, let's go north to south. Let's begin with Mike Norvell and Florida State. They almost seemed like the forgotten team here until recently, but they pick up a big commitment from Falk, right, the defensive end out in the state of Alabama, a 4-star. So slowly but surely, Mike Norvell and Florida State beginning to make a little noise on the recruiting trail.
It's a big time get for the Seminoles. I think when you pair that with FSU landing Roderick Kearney, the top 247 offensive lineman out of Orange Park, I mean, those are 2 legitimate blue chip guys that had options to play in the SEC. And FSU finds a way to get them committed. And I think that's impressive because right now there really hasn't been a ton of momentum or much to write home about in Tallahassee. I mean, go back to the season. They go 5-7 on the year. And then they essentially get embarrassed during the early signing period when Travis Hunter, the nation's #1 recruit, he flips over to Jackson State. So, Florida State hasn't been as brash and, trying to make as much noise as they had under the first 2 years of Mike Norvell. They've taken a more reserved approach. And we're all kind of wondering, how's this going to play out? And they go and they get those 2 guys committed. So, I think if Florida State can keep winning some of those battles, you have to be somewhat optimistic about what Mike Norvell is trying to do. I mean, he is sticking to his process, and I just think Keldrick Falk, Roderick Kearney, those are two really, really impressive wins just because FSU didn't have any momentum. I mean, everyone is hammering those guys on social media. I mean, talking down about Norvell and his future, and they go and get two guys that I think have a chance to play on Sundays committed. That's pretty impressive.
Andrew Ivins, 247sports.com, here with us on 1010XL and on 92.5 FM. You know, I had a couple of Florida State buddies. One of them's a big-time season ticket holder, alums, Andrew, and their point to me was this. They're worried NIL-wise how Florida State can compete financially with, say, a Florida, with a Georgia, with a Miami. Are those nervous moments for Seminole fans? Is that real? Are they going to have a problem if the NIL situation stays as is?
You know, I mean, it's hard to, I guess, I don't want to say report on the whole NIL world or the landscape, but you know, you hear these figures that get thrown around and these numbers that get thrown around. It's like, does anyone know if this is real? I mean, I was talking to a Big Ten assistant coach a few weeks ago, and he's like, yeah, this player says he's getting this much money, but he hasn't signed anything. So, you know, I think we're all still trying to figure out and who's we all. I mean, me as a reporter, you know, me as an analyst, I think college coaches, I think administrators are still trying to figure this, like, what is real, what's not real. You know, my big takeaway, and I know some people are going to push back on this, is like, I think there's going to be a market correction. You know, I think some of these figures getting thrown out, and I'm not talking about the high-profile quarterbacks or stuff like that. I think they're always going to get the dollars, and they should deserve it. But, man, we're starting to pay, you know, $90,000 a year to a second and third string defensive lineman. I know for some people out there that's nothing, but at some point someone's going to raise their hand and be like, well, what are we doing paying for this guy that's only playing 15 snaps? So, you know, I'm still trying to feel out and navigate the NIL world. I think when you look at the state's big three, you know, Miami doesn't have a collective right now, and they seem to be having the most success right now. Whereas when it comes to the NIL stuff, whereas Florida's got a collective, but they seem to still be trying to figure it out, and Florida State's in that same boat. So I wouldn't panic yet. You know, I don't know how much of these deals are going to be real. You know, I don't know what the future of this looks like, but I've had multiple coaching contacts say, hey, we just got to weather the storm for 2 years, and then there's going to be some type of regulation, some type of salary cap or something. So, you know, is Florida State at a bit of a disadvantage right now? Sure, absolutely. But I don't think it's time to panic and say, hey, this is the end of the program or anything like that, because I think Florida State at the end of the day is going to be able to get money or some type of funding to their star players. I mean, they still sell out that stadium on Saturdays for the big games. I mean, there's people that still know who Florida State is, and they still want to support those student athletes.
You know, Andrew, it's interesting. You live in this state just like I do. The expectations for Florida Gator fans are sometimes ridiculous, and I say that as a member of a family that has had many graduates from the University of Florida. And I see Gator fans on social media kind of going after Billy Napier, and I'm just thinking, my goodness, he hasn't coached a game yet. He's got 9 guys that are committed, 6 of which are 4 stars on 247sports.com. And what do you want the guy to do? He has missed on some guys, no question, but I think Gator fans, at least to me, might be giving Billy Napier kind of a raw deal right now.
Yeah, and you know, this has been tossed around. You know, I've talked about it with some of my colleagues, and you know, I could see both sides of the story. I think if you're a Florida fan and Billy Napier, when he gets hired, he asks for this monster support staff, right? He's getting the facilities, he's asking for all these things, and I think we live in an era where people want instant results, and you know, it's been a little tough sledding for the Gators. You know, they missed out on Roderick Kearney, that top 247 offensive lineman. I mean, he literally left his Florida official visit, and then on the ride home calls and commits to Florida State, which is kind of wild. I mean, like I said, you know, Florida State hasn't had much momentum, but they go and get this kid fresh off his visit to Florida, so it just felt a little bit different. But then the more you kind of learn and listen and ask people, you know, Roderick Kearney has known Florida State's coaching staff for over a year. right? I think so many Florida fans are trying to compare what Mario Cristobal is doing at Miami to what Billy Napier is doing at Florida. But you got to realize when Mario Cristobal was at Oregon, he was recruiting some of these national kids. That wasn't the case for Billy Napier when he was at the University of Louisiana. I mean, the Ragin' Cajuns weren't going after a Roderick Kearney. They weren't targeting a Pup Howard, at Jacksonville, Andrew Jackson, who ended up going to South Carolina. So I think most people, they got to put on the blinders and just give Napier some time. I mean, you mentioned that recruiting class, 9 guys. They've added 4 top 247 defenders over the past 2 weeks amidst all this noise and all this stuff. And to me, that shows Napier is going to keep working, and he's not going to be affected by that outside pressure. And those 4 commits he's got, I like a lot of them. Isaiah Nixon, a pass rusher at St. Petersburg. I think he could be a guy in the SEC. Sharif Denson from Jacksonville, Bartram Trail. I love him as a nickel corner. Both his parents graduated from Florida, and the Gators got that one done. So, I still like the class. I just think Billy needs some time.
Well, and the interesting thing for Florida, and correct me if I'm wrong, Andrew, TJ Searcy, the commitment they got over the weekend, at least the people I've talked to, Florida wasn't really even in the conversation for him like 2 months ago. That was one that Florida got in on, I guess, late in the process and did enough to where Searcy up and committed to the Gators this past weekend.
Yeah, and Searcy was part of that big Clemson recruiting weekend that opened up this summer. I mean, Clemson had, I think, 31 kids on campus. He also tripped to Tennessee and South Carolina. And I kind of, my rule of thumb with Clemson is that when the kid goes there, they either know that they're going to like it or they're not. And it seems like, maybe Searcy didn't think Clemson was for him. But, that opened the door for Florida to go in there and get a really good pass rusher. I was also having this conversation with someone else the other day. I mean, everyone's so concerned about Florida's recruiting with skilled players and quarterback. And yes, that's absolutely important. But I go back to, the early or late 2000s when Florida was king in the state. And those groups were built on defense and having a aggressive front seven and some guys that could play on the back end. And when I look at this recruiting class for Florida right now, I see that coming together. I mean, obviously they got to add, but I think Billy Napier isn't going to star chase. He's going to stick to his evaluation process. And, they're only going to want kids that want to be at Florida. And I still think they're trying to figure out who those kids are. But TJ Searcy was one of them.
A couple of more for Andrew Ivins, 247sports.com. Andrew, Miami is scorching the earth in recruiting. They get the big 5-star tackle out of IMG this past week. You combine that with Jaden Rashada, the quarterback out of California, and clearly Mario Cristobal pushing all the right buttons right now.
Yeah, this is why Miami backed up the Brinks truck, like I said, to get him and bring him back home. This is a guy who was at Florida International University back when T.Y. Hilton was there as a first-year head coach, and he kind of failed. Maybe he should have been there a little bit longer, but then he goes and he rehabs his coaching career and image at Alabama, learning from Nick Saban, becomes a really, really good recruiter. Goes to Oregon and got so much talent to Eugene. So this shouldn't be surprising. I just think. To me, when you look big picture at what Mario has done over the past week or so, you got to be concerned if maybe some of these other schools that have come down into Florida and raided them over the years, raided the Sunshine State. I mean, Miami had never flipped a kid from Clemson before since Dabo Swinney was there. Mario does that last Tuesday, right? Then over the weekend, a young cornerback from South Florida that's committed to Georgia, he flips to Miami. Well, Miami's never flipped a kid from Kirby Smart in Georgia before. And then on Monday, July 4th, as everyone's enjoying their, the holiday, drinking beers or at the pool, the beach, the lake, he gets Francis Mauigoa, the top prospect at IMG Academy, committed. And normally that kid ends up at Alabama or Georgia. So I just think it's been an impressive stretch. I mean, we'll see what happens on the field for the Hurricanes in 2022 and how this class comes together. But Mario isn't backing down. And I think for the first time ever, really, he's pressuring these kids to either commit now or we're going to move in a different direction. That wasn't the case under Mark Britt or Manny Diaz.
Hey, Andrew, final question, man. Again, I certainly appreciate your time. You've done this for a while now. The idea of facilities, right? And you can really put this on all three, Florida State, Florida, and Miami. We know the Gators have their brand new football-only facility opening up here in a month or two, it looks like. But all three really did fall so far behind. You know, the Alabamas, the Georgias, the Texas A&Ms, the Clemsons. Why do you think that happened to all three in the state, and why is it taking them so long to catch up?
Oh, I don't know the answer as to why they fell behind, but I do think, all three have realized that something's got to change. And I've seen the renderings of Florida's facilities. I've been up there in Gainesville, and it looks like it's going to be a state-of-the-art, kind of setup. And when you talk to some of these high-profile kids, I mean, they'll always tell you, the facilities usually is what they'll say are the same at all these schools, but that's not really the case. I mean, Alabama, Georgia, their new weight room, Clemson, those guys are all a tier ahead of Florida, Miami, and Florida State. And I mean, do kids really pick their schools based on the facilities? I used to not think so, but I do think it plays a factor when you think about kind of life outside of football in terms of them making it easier for you to train, to study and stuff like that. So, I don't know why it all fell behind, but I know we're going to see that awesome facility at Florida soon. I know Miami, they got some new plans to kind of turn things around there. And to be honest, I was in Miami's facilities back in the spring, and I was like, man, these are just really not what I thought they would be. I thought they'd be a little more state of the art. So I think everyone has identified that's something that they need to change. And I'm interested to see, how it happens and if they do get an uptick on the recruiting trail from that, because, that's an easy way to recruit against the big three has been, hey, you don't have the facilities. Well, once you get the facilities, then that's not an excuse anymore.
Andrew, really appreciate your time. You can check out Andrew Ivins, 247sports.com. This was our first opportunity to chat. Hopefully it won't be the last. Thank you very much, my friend. Let's do it again soon.
Of course, anytime.
1010XL takes you inside the program director's office with Dan and Jeff.
I like you boys.
The Drill.
Which is why I'm giving you another chance.
Mornings on 1010XL.
I suggest you be on your best behavior.
Here's Linda Beaver.
Have you ever regretted buying a car? Is the idea of shopping at a dealership scary? We want you to know that you don't have to feel that way, and I promise that Beaver Toyota and Beaver Chevrolet will provide the wow experience and peace of mind you deserve. We believe that taking care of our team, our customers, and our community is more important than anything. So give us the chance to earn your business and join our 50,000 plus and counting wowed customers. You won't regret it. See you at Beaver Toyota in St. Augustine or Beaver Chevrolet in Jacksonville. We're here to wow you.
In the wee hours of the night, when everyone else is fast asleep, you're the one on third shift, burning the midnight oil. When a part fails and everything comes to a grinding halt, regardless of what the clock on the wall says, you leap into action. Grainger is with you and all the ones who get it done. With 24/7 customer support by phone or click to chat. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Star Wars fans, may the Force be with the Sharks Saturday, July 9th as the Sharks take on the Carolina Cobras for Star Wars Night. Presented by Baptist Health and Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute. The first 1,000 kids in attendance will receive free lightsabers. Don't miss this action-packed football game. Tickets start at just $12. Call 904-621-0700. That's 904-621-0700. Or visit jacksharks.com.
Did you know that July is National Carpet Cleaning Month? To celebrate, Zero Res offering 25% off all carpet cleaning in your home. Book online at ZeroResJacksonville.com or give them a call. Zero Res. You spell it forwards or backwards. Zero Res. It's the right way to clean.
So you got a letter from your insurance company saying that your policy will be canceled if you don't replace your roof. I did, and before I did anything, I called Ken Lawler and Fifth Element Adjusting. Ken, how's it work?
Jeff, if you've received a non-renewal letter from your insurance carrier, our team will help you navigate the confusing process and review your policy for you. Our goal is to get your damaged property replaced so you can get back to your life. Call Fifth Element Adjusting or visit feaclaims.com. If you're happy with the outcome of your claim, Fifth Element Adjusting will not be able to help you. Ken Lawler, DFS number P213199.
Upgrade your grilling game to amazing meals with a new high-quality grill from Caladad Grills.
Why Caladad? It means quality. Expert grills that stand apart from the crowd, like Traeger, Kamado Joe, and Napoleon. In stock today and built to last. Why Caladad? It's a local family business, so they'll save you money and time with free delivery. Stop by Caladad Grills at the end of Cumberland Park Drive, just off County Road 210. Caladad, they make it easy for you to grill like a pro.
If you're ready to sell your gold, silver, or diamonds, then go to a name you can trust. Monahan Jewelers has been Jacksonville's top gold buyer for 45 years. Relax in our elegant atmosphere as Monahan's expert staff pays you top dollar for your gold, silver, diamonds, and coins. If you need cash for bills, something fun, or want to trade your old jewelry for a great new piece, people have confidence in Jacksonville's top gold buyer, Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach. So to sell your gold, check us out at monahanjewelry.com or call us at 246-GOLD.
Estate cleanouts, hoarding cleanouts, old appliances, and even tools. There are tons of reasons why you or someone you know may need expert help clearing space. J-Dog Junk Removal will responsibly help you free up space. That means when they leave your place, it looks better. Whether it's you or a loved one that needs one type of clean out at your home, trust the veterans at J-Dog Junk Removal. Veteran owned and operated. Call 844-GET-JDOG or visit jdog.com.
Hey, Rural Pest Services here. Have mercy, the heat and afternoon thunderstorms are here. With that, we get the skeeters, or for the transplants, mosquitoes. At Royal, we offer a monthly, bi-weekly, or one-time mosquito suppression service. The treatment process offers up to a 95% knockdown on all mosquito activity. So let Royal help you enjoy that backyard oasis this summer. Visit RoyalPestServices.com to schedule a free estimate.
Hey Jacksonville, we need your help. It may be summer, but school is just around the corner. Hundreds of local homeless, at-risk, and low-income students need school supplies. One-to-One Financial, Jacksonville's hometown credit union, is collecting school supplies through July 30th, so our most vulnerable kids can start the school year right. Be a good person and help us fill 350 backpacks this summer. Bring donations to your nearest One-to-One Financial branch. Learn more and find the closest branch at one-to-one-fcu.org. And don't forget, the school supply tax holiday is the last week of July. Thanks, Jacksonville.
Life a little expensive right now? If you need cash, Beaches Jewelry and Pawn in Jack's Beach is ready to buy. Gold, silver coins, and flatware, guitars and guns. Beaches Jewelry and Pawn wants to buy them. See Chuck and get extra cash only at Beaches Jewelry and Pawn.
A Hall of Fame career deserves a Hall of Fame tribute. 1010XL presents a special 6-part visual podcast on Tony Vaselli. You'll hear from coaches, players, family, and Big Bo himself about a football life worth celebrating. Brought to you by Arlington Toyota. Find it where you find podcasts. This 1010XL 92.5 FM hour is powered by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. Hacker After Dark on 1010XL. Now, hello. Another great guest on the Farah and Farah phone line. Brought to you by the Accident Attorneys at Farah and Farah.
Back here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. It is a Thursday evening, and we are glad you are with us. The NFC South is where we've been this week. We've already been to Charlotte. We've been to Atlanta. We've been to New Orleans. Let's cap it off down south in Tampa Bay. Tom Brady is back. Bruce Arians is not. Interesting offseason for the Buccaneers. Zach Blobner, WDAE Radio in Tampa, joins us here on 1010XL. Zach, how you doing?
I'm good. I got my ticket for the TB12 roller coaster. One more ride on that this upcoming season, and that's really all the talk here in Tampa Bay.
Zach, let's start right there, man. He retires for, 4 to 5 weeks. He unretires. Amidst all of it, Bruce Arians leaves, and Todd Bowles is now the head coach. I mean, how would you summarize the offseason there in Tampa?
Shocking. I mean, in terms of just one thing after another. And that's the biggest thing, man. I mean, we got Tom Brady to town a couple of years ago, and since he's basically agreed to become a Buccaneer, it has just been unexpected news after unexpected news after unexpected news from, the players that have signed with the Bucs to all the way, like you mentioned, this past offseason where he did retire. And not many actually believed he was fully committed to that, thought he would come back. He did. And it's just been a lot of keeping us on our toes here. But look, with a Super Bowl Lombardi trophy in the case because of him coming to town, he can do whatever he wants as far as most of us are concerned.
What did they lose, Zach, with Bruce Arians stepping aside? I mean, Todd Bowles, we'll get to him in a moment, but focusing primarily on Bruce, what has Tampa lost without him?
I think it's a figurehead, right? Like, you need that guy that's in charge. And the more you cover the NFL, the more you realize the NFL head coaching position does so much more, behind the scenes than we can really fathom. It's not all X's and O's. Byron Leftwich, the OC, still in that position. Him and Brady pretty much ran their own offense with a little bit of input from Bruce. And, Todd Bowles, like you mentioned, we'll get to him, it ran the defense. And Bruce just kind of took over all the other things. And we don't realize how many other things there are, but his personality, his voice, everything, it led the way for this Buccaneers team. And it gave, everybody, not just the players, but reporters, fans, somebody to kind of look to for the final answer on it all. And it'll be interesting to see if that dynamic changes and it is more of a split with Todd Bowles taking over and then Byron and Tom Brady on the other side of things, or if Todd will kind of take over in the same way that Bruce did and be a figurehead of it all.
Zach Blobner, formerly sports radio here in Jacksonville. Now you hear him in Tampa on WDAE radio. He's with us on 1010XL. Todd Bowles, defensive guy, gets another opportunity as a head coach. Interviewed a lot for other openings. Stayed in Tampa, finally gets his chance or his second chance there with the Buccaneers. How excited do you believe he is for this opportunity? And do you believe that he is the right man for the job?
I think he's beyond excited. I mean, you're not going to end up in many better situations in terms of head coaching opportunities in the NFL than Todd Bowles is this season. And especially a guy that's already had an opportunity now, getting a second shot with Tom Brady as his quarterback. Again, Byron Leftwich, a guy that he knows, still the offensive coordinator. So you got a lot of continuity on this team. That won the Super Bowl 2 years ago was, a couple plays away from maybe making a return trip and having another shot at a back-to-back championship. So I think Todd Bowles is very excited. And I don't know how to compare it to his tenure at the Jets, but he seems more personable. He seems like he's letting his character out more. And the one big takeaway I've had from him since he's taken over as the head coach here in Tampa Bay is that he wants to be that way. He wants to be more himself and let his personality shine. And he's credited that to Bruce Arians and said that that's the number one piece of advice that he's taken away from BA as he steps into his role.
Tom Brady, we mentioned him earlier. He's obviously in his mid-40s, still played very well last year. We'll get to Gronk in a moment, but you look at skill position-wise, Zach, they got Mike Evans. They signed Russell Gage, which was kind of an under-the-radar type signing, but I love Russell Gage and what he brings potentially to Tampa. You get Leonard Fournette back. So a lot of the main pieces are there at the skill position. I guess the concern might be the offensive line, right? With a retirement, a couple of free agent departures. Do the Buccaneers have questions up front?
Yeah, I think there's a little bit of trepidation there. I mean, you worry if the offensive line, losing an all-pro and Ali Marpet can kind of step back into being that consistent force in front of Tom Brady. They've got a lot of guys that I think have filled in admirably in the past, some new guys, some new talent that they've acquired to kind of help fill the gaps there figuratively and literally. And I don't think it's a lot of concern. It's just a little bit of like, okay, well, the line won't be as good as it was last year, but how big is the drop-off? And I do think that there's faith in the guys that are still here and the new guys brought aboard to protect Tom Brady and protect, that front. Shaq Mason coming down from New England, a very proven commodity. He's a guy that pops right in, and Tom Brady knows him. So I think that was a stellar move on the part of general manager Jason Light to come aboard and bring him in here. Honestly, though, not just the offensive line. You think about Antonio Brown. He was a head case, but he was, a hell of a receiver. And you mentioned we'll get to Gronk. There's going to be drop-offs on pretty much every level of offense, but how big of a drop-off? And I think with the moves made, they've kind of plugged some holes in, not a sinking ship, but one that wasn't ready to run quite as successfully as it has the past few years. And I think when you're performing at a level that Tom Brady was last season, MVP caliber, even though he lost out to Aaron Rodgers, there's still a lot of faith that this offense will be high flying.
Zach Blobner, WDAE Radio in Tampa. Zach, it's July 7th. As of right now, this conversation, Rob Gronkowski is retired. Do you believe Rob Gronkowski will be retired on Sunday, September 11th, when the Buccaneers kick off their season?
I don't. I really think he's coming back still. I mean, now listen, who knows, right? And that's, again, the thing with Tom Brady since he stepped foot into town is everything's possible. You look at all the players, including Gronk, that have come here. You look at him and his own retirement and how he handled it. And Gronk has joked numerous times about kind of messing with Tom Brady and giving it back to him. And I think, Gronk has made it, well aware that he doesn't love working out in the off season or in the sun or doing all the things, quote unquote, necessary by NFL and their teams to get your contracted money. And I think Gronk is maybe going to take a little extra time, let the body heal a little bit. And I find it hard to believe that when Tom Brady comes to calling that he won't come out of retirement for a little longer. Now, the good thing for the Bucs is they drafted like 20 tight ends. So they're going to have some guys to help fill that role. Cam Brate is another guy that's been around for a long time to help fill that role. And I truly think that, at some point they'll probably bring in a veteran tight end like a Kyle Rudolph perhaps, maybe for camp. And then we'll kind of see how things go. I think if we get a couple weeks into camp, that's when you can put Gronk Watch back on the TV. And if we get closer to the first week of the season and he's still not signed, I don't know if he'll come back mid-year. That's kind of where I disagree with some of my colleagues in town is a lot of them think, maybe Gronk misses the first few weeks, the hotter months, and then comes back. I think if he's going to come back, it's going to be closer to week one. Again, maybe just avoiding a couple extra weeks in the sun of Tampa Bay and of Florida to miss that camp time. And he's staying in shape. I just saw him working out on his social media feed, today. So I don't believe he's retired for good.
Zach, you were here in Jacksonville when Leonard Fournette was young in the National Football League, still very productive. I mean, his final year here in Jacksonville, he had, 1,800 all-purpose yards. You see Leonard Fournette now, the veteran tailback in Tampa. What's the difference between Fournette when he was here and Fournette, what we see with the Buccaneers?
I think it's his sense of urgency to perform as a professional. And, not just his time in Jacksonville. Look back at LSU, his final year, right? Like he was missing games left and right and protecting his draft stock, and it worked out, got drafted very highly by the Jags. But I think there were obvious moments while he was in Duval that he just wasn't really trying. He just didn't seem really interested in the game or in giving 100% on, a play-by-play basis throughout the entirety of a game. And I think since he's come to Tampa Bay, there were some moments where he had to ride the pine. He had to, play a backup or even a backup role there in that first season. And I think that Bruce Arians and him had like a really touching moment where Bruce was like, look, you either get with the program or you get out. And Leonard Fournette, having some more maturity to him, took to that and really turned the corner. And I think he's a guy now that his head is on tight and right. And I think he's ready to continue being a full professional, full-time, not just when he feels like it. And it really does come across every conversation we have with him. And again, like you mentioned, it's different than when he was in Jacksonville, and everybody matures at a different rate, but it seems like Leonard's kind of kicked into gear when he got into Tampa about midway through that first season.
Final moments here with Zach Blobner, WDAE Radio in Tampa. All right, Zach, as far as the division goes, I had my buddy John Michaels on in Atlanta earlier this week. I asked him about the Falcons. What can they look forward to? He brought up Bryce Young and C.J. Stroud. All right, so that's where they are. Carolina looks like they're completely in rebuild mode, although we'll see about Baker Mayfield. And Jameis Winston's coming off a knee injury, and they got a brand-new head coach. I mean, is this Tampa's division no problem, or could it be harder than it looks on paper?
No, I think it's, I don't want to discredit professionals doing their job and teams that are in the NFL because they're still the best in the world, right? These guys, whether you're talking about the players, coaches, scouts, whoever. That being said, it's Tom Brady's division. It's the Bucs division, and it's not even close. Not to say they'll sweep all, 2-4-6 of those games. But I feel pretty good about the Bucs winning this division out. But Matt Rule on the hot seat, if Christian McCaffrey can give him a full season healthy, big if, he's as dynamic as there is a playmaker in the league when he's rolling. So that's a team who's going to fight with a sense of urgency, and I think will give the Bucs fits. Same idea with Jameis. If he can stay healthy and the Saints can get Kamara on the field and through his issues, they'll give the Bucs fits. But I don't think either of those teams can just keep up with the ultimate win-loss total that Tampa Bay will ultimately put on the board come the end of the year.
Hey, Zach, leave us with this. Mike Caldwell, formerly of Tampa, now in Jacksonville. He learned under Todd Bowles. Caldwell now the DC here with the Jaguars. The Cliff Notes version, but what can Jaguar fans expect from the defense led by Mike Caldwell?
Blitz, and some more blitzing. He's going to get to the quarterback if he's anything like what Todd Bowles is here. And the things that he's learned from Todd is that he's going to go after the opposing quarterbacks. But if you can get a little bit of push up front with your defensive linemen, and your edge rushers, I think you're going to really like the speed at which he runs that defense and how often he goes after the quarterback. It'll be maddening at times, when you're not getting to the guy. But I think ultimately it's going to be a fun, exciting, lively defense to watch.
Zach Blobner, it's always nice to talk to a former alum of a current radio station or a former radio station that I worked at. He was here in Jacksonville. Now he's with WDAE in Tampa. Hey, Zach, appreciate the conversation. Brother, thank you very much. We'll do it again soon.
Sounds good, and cheers.
And again, thank you to my friend Zach Blobner, WDAE Radio in Tampa, as our NFC South preview wraps up. We've been to Atlanta. We've been to New Orleans. Tonight we were in Charlotte, and we finished in Tampa. Believe it or not, that's 28 teams down. That's 7 divisions down. Our final division preview will be next week, and it'll be the AFC South, as we'll go to Houston, Indianapolis, Tennessee, and then, of course, right here in Jacksonville, and we will have covered all 32 teams over an 8-week period. Boy, we got a lot of people to thank tonight here on a Thursday night edition of Hacker After Dark. Like I just said, Zach Blobner, WDAE Radio in Tampa. How about the Mac Attack? Chris McClain, WFNZ Radio in Charlotte. They seem pretty excited about Baker Mayfield being in Charlotte. I guess I would be too if my other option was Sam Darnold. We'll see if a fresh start is what Baker Mayfield needed, as he is now a Carolina Panther. Thank you to Reggie Hayward. That was a lot of fun. Former Jaguar defensive end who joined us earlier on in the program. Boy, he was a good one here in a Jacksonville Jaguar uniform. And Andrew Ivins, who does a terrific job covering recruiting all over the state of Florida for 20.